Good afternoon. How are y'all today? My name is Michelle Hyder, and I wanted to welcome you to our webinar. I'm sorry, I keep hitting my keys and I kept making my timer stop. So I wanted to go back. So just to make sure you're in the right webinar, we're going to talk about changing PDFs to interactive worksheets. So again, I'm Michelle Hyder, and my co-host is Amir Burton. So Amir, do you want to...
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
So we've got lots of people here today joining. I think we have about 91 people, so that's awesome. I did want to share a couple of things for you to look at your chat. So if you want to look at the top and find chat and have that off to the right, you can do that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about move my slide to the next slide. We're going to talk about what you're going to learn today. So today you will learn how to turn PDFs into interactive worksheets so that the students have the ability to write text and to draw on those documents. And we're going to go over a couple of tools. And those tools are going to be Cami. It's a Chrome extension. We're going to look at Google Slides. We're going to look at Pear Deck. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. And let's see. Then let's talk about our expectations. Let me move my slide. So Amir, do you want to address that?
I'd be happy. So all of you have been muted. You can unmute yourself, but with 99 people in here right now, it'll be a little difficult to talk over each other. So what we're asking is any questions that you have throughout this webinar, go ahead and post them in the chat, and either myself or Michelle will address them, or we'll bring them out to the group to repeat your question. So that's going to be monitored the whole time. Also, we've been having a lot of questions that is it okay to record this, or will it be recorded? We are actually going to record this, and it'll be posted on our distance learning website. Usually it takes about a day for us to get the video and get it uploaded. So if you're going to share this with any colleagues, it will be available probably tomorrow afternoon at some point.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Amir. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand it over to Amir, and he's going to show you a couple of things, and we'll kind of be going back and forth. So here we go. Let me stop sharing. It's all yours, Amir.
Let me unmute myself, and hopefully you're seeing a blank web page at this time. Is that correct, Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, we're going to start with Cami, and like Michelle said, it is an extension for your Google Chrome browser, and it allows us to annotate on PDFs. So this is one of the 4 methods that we're going to look at today. So the first thing, if you will go, or you can go to camiapp.com. And like anything partnering with Google, you will have to sign in and pair it with your Google account. So you would just go up there and click. Now, notice mine came in right away. It's because I've already signed with my Google credentials. You will have to go in and allow it to partner with your Google account, and you'll just go through the same processes that you do and just allow. Trial ends in 33 days. Most likely for you, it will say 36 days, and you will have that many days for the premium package. The pieces that we're going to show you today should be free, and I've seen free throughout, even after the premium trial has ended. Another thing, if you notice up here, I have this little K, and that's for the Cami, which will take me to this page as well. If you want this extension, what you can do is go to your App Store, and that's just the Chrome apps web store. So you can just type in, and then if you do your search for the Chrome Web Store, you can type in Cami, K-A-M-I. You'll see this extension right here. Now mine says rate it. Yours will probably say install. What I've been told is this has been force pushed out to all teachers and all students throughout the district. It should be available for you. If it's not already in your extensions, all you have to do is go into the extensions and allow it. So this is just the setup that you will have to do in the very beginning. All right, so let's go now to Google Classroom. All right, so we are assuming, and we're going to go under the assumption, you already have your PDFs uploaded into your Google Drive. So like any classroom, this is my home screen. I would go to my classwork. I'd go to create. And notice I have a Kami assignment. I'm not going to use that. I'm actually going to use our traditional assignment. I'm going to give it a title. I'm going to just give students whichever instructions that I need. In this case, I want them to open with Kami. And once we get done with assigning it, we're going to flip it back over to Michelle, and she's going to let you look at it, see what it looks like from the student's perspective, so you can both sides. So now I'm going to add the assignment. I'm going to go to my Google Drive, and I'm going to stay in my recents, and then I'm going to just scroll and look for the assignment that I want to upload. And I have this rates and proportion PDF. And notice it says PDF right down here on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and add it. I'm going to do any settings that I would normally do. So in this case, I am going to still make a copy for each student. I can drop it into my topics. I can assign it for multiple classes or specific students and still affect the points. So I'm treating this just like any other assignment. Once it's in, I'm going to come up here and assign. And now it's assigned for the students just like you would any other document. All right, Michelle, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and if you will go ahead and jump into the sandbox class, and let's take them through what it looks like from the student side.
Absolutely. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me a second. I'll hop on over to the sandbox. And okay, there we go. All right, so I'll give it a second. Amir, if you let me know when it shares, that'd be great.
I can see it.
Okay, awesome. So I am a student in his class. So I'm going to click on over to classwork. And once I am there, Amir, what did you call it again? Sorry, I was chatting, answering a question.
It should be that math lesson.
The math lesson. Okay, I thought you had put it under a topic, but I couldn't remember. Okay, so I'm going to click on that math lesson. You're going to see there is Open with Kami. So I have already signed into Kami as well. I have already added that extension and signed in with Kami, so that when I click on it, you're going to notice I am a student, and there are students out there that have already loaded that extension. So they are able to do that. So right here where it says Open with Kami, I'm going to click right there. And what it does is it takes me my PDF into Kami. I have 33 days left. So he was mentioning that trial. And so here is that worksheet in Kami. So now I can come over and I can click on this text tool. So if I need to type in something, I can do that. I can come over and I can get my drawing tools. So I can click there. I can make it as thick as I want. I can make it whatever color that I want. And I can draw. I can work out my problem. Whatever it is that you are having the students do, they can pretty much do it all here in Kami. I believe they can even insert an image. So lots of things. Here's my eraser. Lots of things that you can do. You can comment. You can do in Kami. So I believe you can even do the text to speech so it can read it. So I can actually have it read it. I'm not remembering how I do that. If I just place that.
If you just highlight.
Having a sale on canned vegetables.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. If you need a student who needs that reading of the directions, it's all right in here for you. So this was assigned in Google Classroom. So if you notice right over here, I have my turn in button. So right now, when Amir assigned that to his Google Classroom, the students have the editing rights. When I click that turn in button, I no longer have those rights. It goes back to him. So I'm done with my assignment. I'm going to go ahead and turn in, and then it asks me, you know, I guess it's just I'm not done yet and I can go back, but I'm going to go ahead and turn in. And that's going to take a sec. So then it takes me back to my Google Classroom. And it says one attachment will be submitted. And I click turn in. If I'm a student and I have any questions, I can ask questions here, or I can unsubmit. So that's sort of what it looks like on the student side. So Amir, are you ready to take it back over to the teacher?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Stop sharing for you.
All right. Can you see my screen, Michelle?
Yes.
All right, so we're in the grades section, and we see the math lesson. And so we see Michelle's assignment right here that she just turned in. I can click on it, and just like any other document, I can see what she's done. So this is what she typed. This is what she just drew. I can comment to her. I can give a grade to it. I can also return it to her. And just like any other assignment in Google Classroom, I can toggle through all of my other students. So I can give her a grade. I can give her a private comment. I can post the comment. I can return it to her. So it behaves like any other document in Google Classroom. I saw a couple questions out there. Will the students have to download this on their personal machine? If they are signed in with their Northeast credential, they will have all of the extensions that are afforded through their Northeast credential. So if it's been pushed out to them, then it should show up in their Google Chrome browser. That was one of the questions I saw. And I know you are vigorously trying to answer any questions that are out there. Is there anything whole group that we can answer right now with Cami?
Sorry, I was just trying to read. So I do have a question. It says, once a teacher downloads Cami, any PDF assignment we assign, students will automatically be given the option of opening it in Cami. I believe the student has to be the one to have the Cami extension to get that option. Am I correct, Amir?
You are correct. So if the students are not seeing that option, they will have to go to those extensions. And we're going to follow up with our Google administrators to make sure those are being pushed out to all of the students, but you can walk them through the instructions. I also have, and I want to put this into the chat. Let me find where my notes are.
Awesome. Thank you. I was looking for that to put that in there because we were having some questions if there was are you going to put the student walkthrough on that?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this one right here. This is the Cami Help Center, how to use the free version of Cami with Google Classroom. And this will give you all the information that you need and take you back through the steps that we've covered. So not only are we recording this for you, but we'll put these notes in there for you. So when we switch this back over, I'll post those in there as a link for you.
Hey, Amir, I have a quick question. So they're asking, can it be used on a Mac? And so you can download Google Chrome on a Mac. Is that correct?
Yes, I traditionally use my Mac. I'm actually using the PC today for part of what we're doing, but normally I use my Mac and I've never had an issue with Cami at all. Just using the Chrome browser and installing the extensions through Cami. So yeah, Mac is not an issue.
Hey, Amir, real quick, I'm getting some questions about, is this through Launchpad, Google Classroom? Will you kind of show them when we're talking about Google, with the extensions, will you show them
Sure.
where they find that?
All right, so I'm going to go to a new tab, and then I have Show Apps, this little rainbow waffle right here. If you don't have this one, you can actually just go to Google or chrome.google.com, and it's the web store. And so you can actually just type in a Google search, Chrome Web Store, and then search the store. All we're going to do is type in Cami, K-A-M-I, and then do a search. And then this is what you're looking for right here. And mine's already installed, but notice down here, this is something I don't have installed, add to Chrome. That's what you would see right here, add to Chrome. And then it'll add that extension, and then you should see it up in your box right here.
Awesome, thank you. And so the students, I'm not sure if it's pushed out to students, but they can go into their extensions and add that?
Yes, they can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you,
Students
Amir.
can go through that process. Absolutely. What other questions do we have before we move on to the converting?
So I'm just kind of looking through. It says, so it's important that parents know they need to use a Chrome browser. Yes, that's important. I would recommend that because they are using Google Classroom. So Chrome browser, yes, because the extension is in the Chrome browser. Good question.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm just kind of going through. Y'all are got lots of questions. Can you do this in Seesaw? So I've seen that question a couple of times. And so Seesaw has its own ability to draw, and you can record while you speak on top of PDF. So you don't really need this in Seesaw. Seesaw already has that ability, but good question. Seesaw is really great if you, it kind of does all this for you.
It does. It's all built in. It's a one-stop shop in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. I think I got it all. I'm going to be scrolling through just to see if I missed anything else, but great questions, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. So moving on from Cami, now we're going to look at a little known feature with Microsoft Word. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize my browser, and I'm going to show you my desktop. So notice I have two PDFs here. The nice part about having Microsoft Word, what I'm going to open right now, and I have it pinned to my taskbar down here. And I'm going to just open up Word, and then I'm going to come into the file folder, and I'm going to open, and then I'm going to browse. All I want to do is drill to the location. And then I have those two PDFs on my desktop, and we can see them right here. We have the rates and proportions, and that's the one that Michelle just annotated on. And we can actually open it with Microsoft Word. And we're going to get this pop-up window that says it's just letting us know to convert. If you don't want to see this, you can check this box. And what it's doing is it's converting the PDF into Microsoft Word. And you can see on the very bottom, you see the little progression bar. And we'll give it another second. So a couple things to note, and this is what we need to be aware of. This look as what we saw in Cami. We noticed the formatting's different. And that's one thing you need to be aware of. You have a PDF, the images right here are all out of place. CDFs will convert very nicely, others won't. This one is full of tables, and I didn't create it, so I don't know how it was built. So in this case, I would not use this conversion. I would use one of the other methods that we're showing you today. So we have to be aware that just because we can convert it in Microsoft Word, we may not get the look that we're looking for. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at another one, and it's going to be this PDF right here. So I'm going to go through that same process, open up Word, come to open. I'm going to browse for it. Go to the location. In my case, it's desktop. and then assessment guidance is the one we're looking for. So if you have a document that is a text document that you might want your students to annotate on, notice this is very nice and clean, didn't lose matting, even the tables came through. So if you have a text document, this might be a nice option for you.
I'm sorry to interrupt
Yes.
you, but
No,
you're
absolutely.
kind of like going in and out a little bit. So I don't know if it's your microphone, but we're having a
Could be.
little bit of hard time and we're hearing that whistling. So
Okay.
just wanted to let you know. Thanks.
Let me see if I can do a switch over real quick. Give me 1 second.
So while he's fixing his mic, I just want to let you know I'm just kind of going through some of the questions. So yes, this will be posted for future recordings. So I know it's step intensive. So we are recording this. And then also, if you look down at the chat, I put the Cami help document down in the chat as well. So we will also try to post that on our distance learning website as well. And then if you don't, if you aren't getting that information, if you can't find it, just reach out to your instructional technology specialist and they will be happy to share that information with you. So Amir, how we doing?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you sound much better.
Much better now? All right. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. All right, are we back to the document? Michelle?
Yes, I see it.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, excellent. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so as I was saying, and hopefully you heard, depending on the document that you are converting using Word, you may or may not get a nice quality copy of it. So in this case, where it's text, it saves very nicely. So now that it's in Word, I'm going to go File, Save As. And I'm going to go ahead and save this to my desktop. All right, before I close it, make sure it is on my desktop. Here it is. And then I am going to upload it into my Google Drive. So I'm here to file upload. And the reason why I'm uploading it into my Google Drive is so that I can convert it to a Google Doc. Nope. Let me close that up. Let's try that one more time. So it's uploaded. And now notice when I click on it, it's looking at it as a Word, but I have an option open with. And this is the final step. We want to open it up as a Google Doc. So again, we lose a little bit of formatting. so we can clean up these spaces. But this gives you an opportunity, depending on what you're working with. If you have a PDF that is just text, this is a good way of bringing it in, and you can share this Google Doc with your students in assignment the same way you would assign anything. So as you're going to see throughout this session, depending on what you're doing with the different documents is how you will convert or use the different tools available for you. Michelle, do we have any questions that people couldn't hear of when we were making those different conversions?
We're just talking about, I know that I got something in the chat that said Cami has a time limit. And I think that means the trial version. And then they were asking what you're doing now, the Word to, the PDF to Word to Google Doc does not have a time limit. So you can do that at any time.
That's correct.
Yes. And then so there's a question then does it save as a Google Doc? When he did that last step, then that saves it as a Google Doc.
Right.
Takes away that DOCX.
Right. That is correct. So the Cami question, the trial, and so for me, it's 33 days. When I first opened this, the very first day, it was 36 days, and that's the premium. The tools that Michelle showed you of the text box and the drawing feature and the shape, I have not seen that those have gone away. I've been using Cami for a few years right now with the high schools, and they have not had issue with those pieces going away. The text to speech has gone away, and there was a couple other features, but the text box and the drawing features have not gone away. Those are part of the free parts.
Okay, so another question is, can you please show us how the students could write on the Google document? So I'm not sure that they can write on the Google document, but they can type in the Google document. And
absolutely.
What I'm going to show you in the two portions that I have that I'm going to show, the students are actually one of those, the students will be able to write on the actual document.
Yes. All right, so if we have no other questions of converting from a PDF to a Google Doc or Cami, are you ready to switch it over to you, Michelle?
Yes, I'm ready to switch it on over, and I will talk about Google Slides and Pear Deck with your PDF. So excellent. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. So give me a second. Thank y'all for being so patient. I know sound issues and, you know, it's just, we're all learning together. So we appreciate your patience. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is how to take a PDF and actually put it into Google Slides so that you can assign it to each student into your Google Classroom. So what we're going to do is I'm going to head on over to my Google Classroom, and I'm going to go to classwork, and I'm going to go to create assignment. I'm going to give it a title. So say Mattermean. I have a PDF with that. I can give my instructions. I can assign it to a topic. So I am going to, instead of going to add, I am going to go to create, and I'm going to create a slide. So that's going to open a slide for me. So that slide will be open. So now what I'm going to do, so I've got my slide, I'm going to go and find my PDF. So my PDF is on my desktop. Go ahead and close out of that. So I'm going to open, where was it? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use this one, this PDF. So I'm going to open my PDF, and I'm going to come down here to my snipping tool. So if you're—
Hey, Michelle,
yes.
Can I pause you for a second?
Sure.
We are not able to see your desktop. We're actually still looking at your Chrome browser.
Oh, good to know. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and fix that. Can you see it now?
We can see the PDF now, yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm so sorry. Let me go through those steps again. I just thought you could see everything. Okay, so did you see the portion with my with Google Classroom? Were you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay.
We're looking at your desktop right now.
Okay, and so your mic is kind of going in and out again too. So were you able to see the portion where it took me and created and it popped on over to another, to a Google slide?
We saw you create the Google slide, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Okay, awesome. So now, now that I've gone, I went to my Google Classroom, I created an assignment, I went in and I created a Google slide. I'm going to minimize, and my my two PDFs are just hanging out on my desktop. So I'm going to open that PDF. And then I'm going to find my snipping tool. So your snipping tool may be down here if you pinned it. If you don't know where your snipping tool is, you can come right here to the search and type in snip. So you may have the snip and sketch tool. I don't have that tool, but you can use the snip and sketch or the snipping tool. So I'm going to open my snipping tool, and I'm just going to click on new. And I am going to grab a picture of this PDF. And so you might have to manipulate. Actually, let me try and get rid of this here. Before you take a screenshot, you might have to go in and zoom out of your PDF so that it all fits nicely on the screen, depending on your size of the PDF. So when I snipped that, I made a snip of it. Anytime you snip something, it automatically copies it for you. So now I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom, actually my Google Slides. So now I'm in my Google Slides. And what I want to do is I want to change this slide, the actual size of the slide, so that I can put in my PDF so it's like a full page. So I can go into File and Page Setup, and it's set on widescreen, but I can click that and click on Custom, and I can change that to 11 by 8.5. So that's my page size. And when I click Apply, it is now going to be the size of a page. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those two things. I'm just clicking and deleting them. I'm going to go ahead and title my presentation. So I'm just going to say sample for right now. Give that a title. So now I want to put my PDF in here, but I want it so that when the students come and they add their text boxes or anything that they need to add to it, and Amir is going to show you that. We're going to take it to the student side, and you'll see how to manipulate. I want to have it so that my background does not move. So you can go to Slide, Edit, Master. And here is where I'm going to paste what I had taken a snippet of. So I can do Control V. And notice how it's tiny. I'm just going to make that bigger and just sort of put that on my slide there. I'm going to make sure that nothing is hanging off. And now when I click back over here, you'll see it's on my slide. I can make it a little bit prettier without that hanging off. But you notice I cannot move it around. It is behind there. It is like embedded on the background. So because sometimes if you go in and you're trying to manipulate something on a slide, so if a student goes in, then this is not going to move around on them. Okay, so you want to make sure that you go into Slide and Edit Master.
Hey, Michelle, real quick.
Yes, sure.
If I can I customize the size of individual slides, or if I do the master, all of them are going to be the same size?
I believe they're all going to be like to change the size of different slides here. Like
yeah.
this one size. You know what? I've never done that. So let's go and see what happens if I
It's an
go in.
excellent question we have out
Yeah,
there.
that's an awesome question. So if this is my 8.5 by 11 and it's landscape, let's go to this slide and see if we can try. I've never tried that. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to try and flip it and we'll see if it applies to just that one. So no, unfortunately, it changes all of my slides. It'll change all of my slides.
Okay, thank you. That's a no for planning.
Yeah, but that's a great question. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and change that back. Okay, so now I'm going to have to go back into my slide, edit master, and make that a little bit bigger to accommodate my slide. And you can put that on there however you want. And so you can choose different layouts. So if I put this one here, but I want to have something different, another PDF, I can click here and bring in another PDF. And if I want this slide, I can always go to layout to change, and you'll notice all the different layouts. So if you have multiple PDFs, you can choose which one you want to paste in there. So now that I've got that in there, I'm going to head back over to my Google Classroom, and let me move my little chat thing out of the way. I'm going to head back over to my Google Classroom where I assigned it. And I want to make sure if I'm going to assign that to each student that it says make a copy for each student. And I can assign it a topic, a due date, and all of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and click assign. So that's going to assign to the Google Classroom. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to let Amir show you what that looks on his end as a student. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and take it away, Amir.
All righty, let's see if I can bring up the screen. All right, Michelle, can you see I'm in your class?
Yes, you are.
Wonderful. Okay, so this is the assignment you just created for me. So my name's already on it. I'll click on that. And so I have all the tools and functionality. So I can put a text box in here. And bring in an image like, and bring in any shape like, so you know what we're doing. But notice there's no turn in. There's no turn in. So for example, a Google Doc would have a turn in piece. I don't have a turn in feature on this one. So once I'm done, I will go back to my classwork and I'll click view assignment. And I'm going to come over here to turn in. So this instruction you may have to share with your students is they're going to have to come in and click this turn in so that you as the classroom teacher know that they completed this assignment. So I'll go ahead and click that. It's asking me if I want to attach it. I'll go ahead and turn that in. And so that's what it looks like from the student side. Michelle, I'll go ahead and hand it back over to you.
All right, so now, so that is just using your Google Slides and taking it into Google Classroom. So now we're going to actually take your PDF and we're going to put it into Pear Deck. So if you have taken any of the webinars or if you've used Pear Deck, you can take whatever's on your PDF and put it straight into Pear Deck. Very much similar to what we did with the Google Slides. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So Amir, can you see my screen?
Absolutely can.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let me get back to, I think this is where I want to be. So I am going to go ahead and look at my PDF. So I'm going to take my PDF. So if you really want the students to draw on the PDFs that you have, it's probably a good idea to put them into Pear Deck, because Pear Deck will have that feature where they can have a drawing tool, and then they can have all the colors and draw. If you want them to just type within that PDF, then you can use pretty much all of the other features that we have shown you today. So I'm going to open up this, the sprayer model template. And then I am going to go ahead and take my screenshot of this. And so I might have to make it a little bit smaller. So I just zoomed out a little bit. And remember, we're going to go find our snipping tool. Okay, and so then I'm just going to click on new, and I'm going to grab a snip of that. Okay, so remember, when I take a snip, it copies it. So I am going to close out of my PDF, and I'm going to head back over to, I'm going to open Google Slides. So I can go to my Drive and go to Google Slides, or I can go to slides.google.com, or I can go through Launchpad. So what I'm going to do right here is I am going to go ahead and paste this on my slide. So the cool thing about using Pear Deck is I don't have to put it in the slide and edit the master, because what Pear Deck is going to do is sort of do that for me. So I'm just going to Control V. I can right click, I can edit, paste, however you like to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's right here. I can arrange it however I want. And there it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to add Pear Deck. So Pear Deck is a great tool if you haven't used it before. It allows you to make your slideshows, your Google slideshows, more interactive. So the kids will be a little bit more engaged. There's great templates, and I'll show you a couple of those things. But what you want to make sure you do is, after I have this on my slide, I'm going to go to add-ons. You may have this little Pear Deck right here. Some people do, some people don't. I'm going to click on add-ons though, because it always is right here. I'm going to click on add-ons, and then you should see Pear Deck for Google Slides. So everyone should have that in their add-ons. It is something that was pushed out. The only thing that may be different from you and me, if you're using it for the first time, you will have to sign in. It will ask you to sign in with your Northeast credentials, and it'll bring some different screens up that say allow. So go ahead and click through that, and then you'll be able to utilize Pear Deck. So I've got Pear Deck. I'm going to open the Pear Deck add-on. So these are add-ons right here, and there's add-ons in Forms, there's add-ons in Google, and these are my extensions. So those are kind of the differences between those. All right, so once I click on that add-on, you're going to notice that I have the Pear Deck out to the side, the sidebar right here. So I've got a couple of different things. I've got a template library that has tons of slides that are already made up. And then you're going to notice that I have these things right here. And these can turn any slide into a slide that has text. So maybe there's a text box out to the side. You can have multiple choice. But what I want to choose is the draw. So that's going to make that slide drawable for the students. And Amir's we're gonna let him show you the student side as soon as I finish with this. So I'm gonna click on draw, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna take my selected slide. So if you notice over here, my slide was selected, and now it is going to be a drawable slide. So you notice down here I have this that says students draw anywhere on this slide. So that lets you know that that's drawable. So now when I go and assign this into my Google Classroom, I'm going to be able to, the students are going to be able to draw on that. So I do want to show you something really cool. Just really quick, throw this in. If you're looking for ways to connect, so I'm going to go back here. Once you add that, you can click on your template library, and you're looking for ways to check in with your students. If you click on this social emotional learning, there are tons of slides here where you can just throw a quick check-in in between a couple of things that you're doing. So maybe I want to click on what I want to know, what's filling my student's bucket and what's emptying their bucket. So that's something that I can pop in, and when I click on that, it kind of pops over to the side. I know I'm kind of going into Pear Deck a little bit, but I wanted to show you that you can add something like that, just a little quick SEL component. Maybe you want to have them do a check-in in between the two things that you want them to do. Okay, so now that we have my slide is now drawable. Now I want to present the slide, and I want to present this to students and make it student paced so that students can go in and be able to draw on that slide. So once I'm done creating my Google slide, and my Pear Deck is open here, I'm going to click on Present Lesson. I do not want to click this Present. That only presents my Google slideshow. I want to present here because that's going to allow me to get a link that I can put into my Google Classroom. So I'm going to click on Present Lesson, and it's going to go ahead and start up, and a couple of windows are going to pop open. So there's going to be several things kind of going on here. And while that happens, I'm going to reach out to Amir and see if he's like answering questions furiously, or if he has anything he wants me to answer or share out.
We had a couple questions. One question was, is Pear Deck available to students? I wasn't sure about the question if it was specific for the students to create, but Pear Deck, they don't need access to it to be able to annotate on these. But Michelle, do you know? I don't think students have it available to them to create. Do you know?
I think they can add the add-on, but then when they sign in and go into the, like it says student login and teacher login, and we'll talk about that later, I think it kind of gets a little iffy there. So okay. I wouldn't say that they have that full access. So. Right.
Another question is, and we've gotten this on a couple times, is can the students type on the model that you're creating? And the answer is, and I'll go through that as a student view once Michelle gets that up, I can either draw or I can type on there, and we'll go through that process.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, great. Any more, or I'm going to just go ahead and continue on?
No, go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so you're going to notice that two things popped up. This is what's called my teacher dashboard, the one that I'm kind of shaking around back here. The one behind me is actually what the students see. And so this only is really relevant when you're in the classroom and you're projecting. So if you extend, you'd extend this back one for the students to see, and this would be your teacher dashboard that you would see. So this isn't really relevant right now, but I kind of did want to bring that to your attention if you're wondering why all these windows are popping up. So this is your teacher dashboard, and the teacher dashboard lets you see the work with the students' names. What the students see is they might see that, but they will not see names attached to anything. All right, so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go ahead and close out of this because it's kind of not relevant right now since we're not projecting. So I'm going to close out of that. And you're still going to see that, but I'm going to show you where we're going to grab the code. Let me just kind of move some things around here because I've got some things in the way. So I don't understand why that's not popping. Maybe I do have to open my teacher dashboard. I'm so sorry. Usually when I hover down here, I get the little thing that pops up, but it is not popping up. So let me see. I'm sorry.
Hey, Michelle, you might need to close that front-facing window that you have, and then that'll open it up for you.
This one right here?
Go ahead and close that one.
Ah, there we go.
There we go.
Yes, that's what I was looking to close. Okay, thanks, Amir. So I'm moving my little toolbar out of the way here. So now that, so this again, this is the teacher dashboard, and notice how it says waiting for responses. So once we get to this window right here, you're going to want to click on those three dots. The first thing you want to do is you want to name your session, and this will come in handy later. But so let's just say this is going to be my first period. You want to name these probably by period or content, or however you're teaching. If you're elementary, maybe by content. And then if you're secondary, maybe by your first period, second period. So I'm going to go ahead and save that session name. So each time you hit the green present, it is a new session. So you will have to have multiple sessions for each class period, unless you want all 100 and some odd students into one session. That might get a little crazy when you're trying to look through all of what they have actually recorded. So it might get a little crazy. So you might want to just have each session per class period. So now that I've named the session, I need to go back to those three dots, and I want to turn on student paced. Right now it's teacher paced. And the only way that a student can advance a slide is if I am running the slideshow. But I want the students to be able to run the slideshow. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Turn on Student Paced. And when that happens, you're going to get this link right here. So I'm going to grab that link, and I'm going to Control C, or I'm going to copy that link. And then I'm going to go back over to my Google Classroom, and I'm going to create assignment. And that'll be my paragraph assignment. And this time I'm going to add a link. So add my link. And so it does not give you the choice of assigning it to each student, because Pear Deck automatically does that. So my link is there, and I can come over and assign it to whatever class is included in a topic. And then I can click Assign. So now that is in my Google Classroom, and I'm going to hand it over to Amir for him to take a look at that on the student side.
All right, let me go ahead and share. All right. So we can see the Pear Deck. Michelle, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see.
Excellent. All right, so here's the Pear Deck that she created for me. Here's the link. So it gives me a little check-in today, and I am excited to be here. So we see that first page that she created, and now I can just toggle through. Oh, too many. There we go. There's this one, and there we go. All right, so here's our model. So we have our tools on the bottom. So this one's our pencil. We have our highlighter. We have our lines. We have a text box. We have our eraser. But then I can come back over to my pencil. I can click this one, and this is our sizer right here. So I can go a nice wide pencil, or I can fine tune it. And then I can write in here. Or come to my text box, and I can type in and I can also change colors. I can undo anything that I've done, or I can clear it all out. All right. So in the same way that we did with the other document, I have to actually come here, view assignment, because notice there was no submit, there was no turn in. There's no submit button, there's no turn in. I can move to the next slide, or actually I'm on the last one, so 3 of 3. So when I'm done, my job as the student is mark as done. And now I've submitted it to my teacher. All right, Michelle, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And just wanted to mention with Pear Deck that you will, let's see, I'm going to share my screen. The students, as they're typing something in, it's almost like it's in real time, so they don't have to save. So whatever you're drawing, it's there for you. The teacher automatically sees it. So there are a couple ways that we can get their information. So if I go back here to my grades, I'm going to click on grades. I'm back in my Google Classroom, and you're going to see that I have Pear Deck. And so if I want to take a look at what Amir turned in with the PDF on the Google slide, I can click here and see that he turned it in, and this is a list of all of my students. And then here is my here is his work that he turned in. And so I can open that up and take a look at that and see what he typed in. I can give him a grade. I can add a private comment. So, hey, next time, Amir, will you make sure you do this? Whatever, you can return it. So now, as soon as I give it a grade, if I don't return it, the student doesn't get a notification, and it will show up as draft. So you have to return it to the students so that they can see their grade. So I'd click return, that would go back to him. Now it's back into his hands, and I can scroll forward if I have any other students and see their work. So I'm going to hit return, give it back to him. Obviously I would put a grade in, but I forgot. I don't know that, I don't think we're doing grades this just yet. So going back to my Google Classroom, and I'm going to come back over here and hop on over to grades again. When I look at my Pear Deck, all it tells me it's turned in. And so you might be wondering, well, where am I going to see those results? What's going on? So you can go to 2 different places. So if you, if I'm coming back here, notice my Pear Deck is still in session. But if I happen to end it, so if I click end, notice it tells me leave and allow students to keep working. So that's exactly what I want to do. So maybe I present my Pear Deck, I turn on my student pace, and I grab the link and I end my session. So now I end that session. So now if I am a middle school teacher or a high school teacher, or maybe even an elementary if you have different content areas, I'm going to go and present that lesson again and go through those same steps. And it might say I have a class in progress. I want to start a new session because I want a different link for each class period. So that's how you would do that. So that's one way to see kind of what's going on. But if I have ended that session, let's just say I ended that session, I can always go to, actually, let me go back and end that session. I'm sorry about that. I should have not started that one. So I'm just going to close out of all this. I'm going to close out of this. And I'm going to end that session. Just go ahead and end that. So now once my session has ended here, so if nothing is happening here, I'm going to go back to, I'm going to close out of that for you. If I go to peardeck.com, so all I have to do is peardeck.com. It's going to take me here. And I'm going to go to teacher login. So when you signed in, when you went to your add-ons and you went ahead and signed in with your NEISD credentials, that's the same thing you're going to use over here. Notice if you have a crown on your head, that means you have premium. So we all have premium for the rest of the year. Then I'm going to click on sessions. I'm going to click on sessions. And you're going to notice that, remember when I named that session with English first period, and it's a student pace session, I can come back over here, and this is my classroom view. So that's what the students would see, but I want my teacher dashboard. So if I click on teacher dashboard, it's going to open up just what the teacher can see. And you'll notice right there that I see Amir's work. So if I had multiple students join this class, I would be able to scroll down here and see other students. Okay. So do you guys are there any questions out there?
There are. We have a really good one that I'd like you to address. The question is, can I make sessions, get the link, and save it somewhere until I'm ready to assign it? And then can I reuse that same link another time? So it's really, can I pre-plan is I think what they're looking for.
Absolutely. So if I'm in here, so maybe what I might do is I might come over here and just maybe have a Google Doc open. So I'm going to go, whoops, if I can type that, doc. So I might have a Google Doc open. So here's my doc, and maybe I'll title it Pear Deck Links. So then I'm going to go back over here. So this is first period. I'm going to present my lesson. I'm going to click on present. And all those windows, remember all those little windows kind of pop open. So if I click off of that and I click off of this, what I need to get to are these 3 dots down here. And so remember, I'm going to go to my 3 dots and I'm going to name that session. So it's important to name it. So maybe this is English second period. I'm going to save that session. Then I'm going to go back to my 3 dots and I'm going to turn on student paste, grab that link, go back over to my Google Doc, and this was second. Oops. So this is second period. And then paste my link. Oh, where is it going? Oh, you know what? This is really, it pastes it in white ink. So that's why sometimes it's hard to see. So I have to come over here because it is in white, and then I have to change it so you can see it. So there's my link for second period. Okay, so then I'm going to go back here. And oops, that's not where I want to go. I want to go back here. I'm going to say, okay, got it. And I'm going to end that session, and I'm going to leave and allow students to keep working. And then I'm going to follow those steps again. I'm going to present, and I'm going to name, and that's going to be third period, and then fourth period, and so on. So you can do that all at once, and then just pop them into a Google Doc, and then you're good to go, and then you can plan for later. And you can always, here's the key though, if I go back to this presentation, let's just say I assign that to the students, and I go back in and I add a couple of more slides, you have to get a new link for those updates to show up. Because if you add something here and you go click on that link, my new content will not show up. You have to re-present. So, so make sure that you have everything you want in that slideshow before you hit present, or you'll have to get all of those links again. Does that make sense? Any other questions, Amir?
No, I think that's it. A lot of people excited about the Pear Deck.
Yeah, it's really cool. And again, you know, I could go into like in a whole other hour, and Amir says I'm long-winded, so I could go into a whole other hour on Pear Deck. But that's something that if you really want to learn, reach out to your instructional technology specialist. We're here and we're working all day, and we're happy to help you. If you want to, I put in the beginning, I put our Northeast Distance Learning link in the actual in the chat at the very beginning of the chat. I know the chat's long, but I can pop this in the chat again. And so if you click here under webinars, you're gonna see that we've got all kinds of webinars going on this week and next. We'll continue to give webinars, so there might be some Pear Deck. We're gonna give this webinar again next week. And then you can also come and take a look at if you click on distance learning, you can take a look at, I believe there's a Pear Deck. If I click on secondary and then here, I think there's some Pear Deck information here. You'll just have to kind of scroll. There we go. There's all kinds of Pear Deck info here. So, but anyway, reach out to your instructional technology specialist. They are here to help you. And so if we have nothing else, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We appreciate you sharing your time with us this afternoon. And Amir, you have anything else to say?
Just a quick reminder. Well, number one, thank you all for joining us and staying with us. We know that it's very intense and there was a lot of information, a lot of clicking. Remember that we're recording this and it will be posted on our distance learning website for you guys to review and go over tomorrow. So we should have it posted tomorrow. All right. Again, thanks for joining us, and see you out there.
Thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon.